Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is a near-perfect film. I ponder whether it's perfect or not because perfect is a concept inconceivable and arguable to human beings, including myself. Regardless, I found myself thoroughly enjoying this movie when it first came out. I watched the movie a total of 3 times in theater and at least 5 other times since it appeared on Netflix, as well as after purchasing the DVD. I'm a Spider-Man fan, and that's probably an understatement. I know what you're thinking. She's just a biased Marvel fan. And that actually is partially true, but I feel I need to say now that before my first trip to the theater, I was skeptical about this movie. Sony had already released the abomination known as the Emoji Movie. And I was worried about them deciding to take on this project, as Miles Morales is my favorite Spider-Man of the bunch. To sum up, this movie was a wonderful surprise that filled me with a sense of creativity and childlike wonder by the end of it. If you're unfamiliar with the Spider-Man lore and origin story, I'll give a quick recap. Peter Parker goes to infiltrate villain Kingpin's evil plan before the destruction of the universe. After being bitten by a radioactive multiverse spider, our hero Miles winds up in the middle of the Kingpin drama and witnesses the death of Spider-Man, while simultaneously an explosion causes the collision of 5 alternate realities with Spider-People. Without a hero around to protect the city, Miles feels it's his duty to fill in his predecessor's shoes despite not having a clue what to do. He also must help the Spider-People find their way back to their realities. By the end of the film, he becomes the new Spider-Man and has successfully sent everyone back to their reality. I'm sure they'll explain that in part 2. I'd now like to venture into the more technical aspects of the film that make it great. The story alone includes tropes we've seen before in other movies, more specifically in superhero movies. What works and sets this movie apart from countless others are the animation, soundtrack, details, and plot. This film came out in 2018 with a sequel set to release in 2022. Yet people are still dissecting and finding new things in it today. The account @Hidden Movie Details on TikTok has made multiple videos pointing out little Easter eggs and sharing them. My favorite video from this account features a freeze frame of Peter B. Parker getting electrocuted. You can see the electricity running through his nervous system, as opposed to bones, which is popular in most cartoons. There's plenty of other cool nods and details in the film, and I encourage any rewatchers to try and point out and spot as many as they can. If we're talking about superheroes, we have to include the hero's journey. This plot sequence is the bread and butter of hero origin stories. The hero must suffer loss and face trials to cement their abilities to withstand hardship. In Miles' case, he has to grapple with the understanding that he now has powers and has to keep them a secret, as well as the reveal that his uncle was a villain, followed by the later death of his uncle, and then realizing that he has to take on this role of protecting the city. That's a lot of information for anyone to have to process, let alone a teenager. There's plenty of action and fun in the middle of the story, as Miles discovers more of his abilities and befriends Peter B. Parker and Spider-Gwen. One of the main themes in the movie is regarding friendship, and knowing that despite everything, you're never alone. The story's 3-act setup is composed beautifully, with just the right amount of lightheartedness and seriousness. Not to mention the amazing comic book animation style that adds to the overall aesthetic of the film. By the time Act 3 rolls around and we're at the climax part of the film, it feels like we've gone through and lived this journey with Miles. The tension and build rises, and we get this beautiful and iconic shot of Miles as he finally accepts his journey and who he is. This is an important release in the story that leads to the final battle with Kingpin later on. Seeing this film in theater is an experience I can't describe in words. Overall, it's just a magical feeling, and I think they did an amazing job capturing the essence of Spider-Man and who that character is at their core. This is a great film for all ages with important messages and themes for younger viewers to see and digest. Thanks for watching.